Welcome back. We have made it through 2 days of English Up, and the explanation of the activities continues. Again, please don't feel that you have to get through both activities. It all depends on how the timing goes. Again, our main focus is to build relationships and give these students great English instruction while many opportunities for them to try out speaking to native speakers. So let's continue. So our next lesson is tips for overcoming culture shock. You're going to be given somewhat like flashcards. On one side isn't the English term, and on the other side is going to be the Russian equivalent to that. Of course, since we're in Odessa, it's a Russian-speaking city, and that's why we have Russian. And you're going to be given a set that includes all the vocabulary terms from the first 5 lessons. So we again give them opportunity to not forget what they've learned in the past couple days. You're going to be getting them into groups of 3 or 4 students. And then maybe place a chair in the middle of them and place the cards in front of them. And one card is going to be set down. Either it's going to be English or Russian. And the first person to grab it and say the correct translation, either if it's an English word, they have to say it in Russian, or if it's a Russian word, they have to say the correct answer in English. If they are correct, they may keep the card. If they are incorrect, they must place the card down and the next person has the opportunity to try. As they collect cards, that's like points, I guess, for them. And continue through the entire set of cards. The next is inner-outer circles. So again, if you have a big group of students, I would create more than one circle. You'll have an outer circle, and then a circle that's inside that is facing those that are on the outside. So everybody has a partner that they are facing, and it creates a circle. And you're going to be putting a sentence starter on the board. I would encourage you to write it, especially for the beginner students. It's a lot easier for them to read than it is to listen to English. For the beginners, you're going to be asking them to give maybe a one-word answer. And as you have the sentence starter, of course your translator is going to want to translate this to them because the sentence may be a little difficult for them. But once they understand what you're asking them, they could probably complete the sentence. And then for the pre-intermediate students, you're going to want them to not only give ending and maybe discuss why their answer is that. So they're going to be discussing with their partner. And then give them a little bit of time and then tell them to go clockwise to the next person. The inner circle will go one place to the right. And then give them another sentence starter. And they have another opportunity to both share their answers to the next sentence starter. And you're going to do this 5 times because there's 5 sentence starters. If you have more time and if you know more sentence starters, you can definitely discuss more. The next lesson is useful sentences for travel survival. So in this lesson, this activity is called the hot seat. And it's pretty much like you say, you're going to have one seat in front of everybody. You're going to want to divide the class into about 4 or less teams. Again, the smaller the groups, the better. So like I said, you're going to have one seat in the front. One person from each team is going to go, or one person from one team is going to sit in that seat. And you're going to write 5 vocabulary words from the lessons on the board. And each person from the team is going to be, or the team is then going to try to describe these words and try to get the person in the hot seat to say all 5 words within a minute to a minute and a half. So they're going to be trying to describe, the beginner students are going to be trying to act out something to try to get their person in the hot seat to say as many of those words as they can within a minute and a half. Again, for the beginner students, you're probably going to be doing it in a minute and a half. For the pre-intermediate students, you can take a little bit less time. And then you're going to get the next team up there. One person's going to go to the front and give them a minute to a minute and a half to try to name the new set of 5 words. Again, I would encourage you to use the words that are learned in that lesson as well as previous lessons. And you're just going to be writing it on the whiteboard. And then the next one is a fun game. It's called Bullseye. You're going to be creating somewhat of an obstacle between the whiteboard and the students. Before we start this, you're going to need to teach them a few key phrases in order to direct someone through a maze who is blindfolded. So, go straight, go left, go right, up, down. You get the point. So some basic phrases for them to navigate not only this maze, but maybe a city that they don't speak the language in. So once you get them into groups, you're going to be blindfolding one person and keeping them at the far end of the classroom, and the whiteboard is going to be at the other end. And in between that person and the whiteboard, you're going to want to position some chairs, some tables, something that would get in their way from making a straight line to the board, so that their team has an opportunity to direct them verbally through the maze. They can't touch the person, they can only direct them verbally in English. And then once the person gets to the whiteboard, you've already drawn a target on the whiteboard. And maybe if you want to, you can have point values. The center maybe is 20 points, the little bit outer circle is 15, and then you get the point from there. So where they're going to be making a mark on the whiteboard to see how close they can get. And then once that team is done, you're going to take the blindfold off, see how they do, and then progress to the next team. I would advise you, because these Ukrainians are super smart, after each person, try to change the chairs around so they don't remember the maze. Have fun with this one. It's a lot of fun. I've done it many times, and they always get a big laugh out of it.